Hey, welcome back. I'm Caroline, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna walk you through my DC apartment hunting process. I'm gonna show you 5 different apartments I looked at, budget and square footage for each of them. Okay, time out. Upon further review, there does seem to be a single piece of glitter sparkle on my mouth for the entirety of this video. Can I explain it? I cannot. Do I regret it? Certainly. Will I re-record this video? Absolutely not. Moving forward. If you're familiar with my channel, you know I usually show interior design stuff, DIY projects, but I also wanted to share how to look for an apartment. The home you choose is the canvas for the beautiful piece of art that you create when you're decorating your home. This move into a new apartment was a very big, meaningful deal for me, and I don't usually get into too much personal stuff on my channel, so if you're uninterested, fast forward. Earlier in the year, I moved from Ohio back to my hometown in DC. I moved in with my parents when a 6-year relationship ended, and I won't go into too much detail about that, but you know, heartbreak, etc. And a wonderful person, all for the best, but big change, big transition. So moving out of my parents' home, I was very excited to look for an apartment. It was also the first time that I would be living on my own. I've lived with a boyfriend, I've lived with roommates, but this is the first time I'd be fully living on my own. It's just a really meaningful, important part for me. I feel so nervous talking right now, but it was a really just meaningful move for me and the big transition that was happening in my life. So, the end of emotions, that's enough of that. Washington, DC real estate. It's not the most expensive, but it's not the least. You can definitely go to certain neighborhoods and save a bit more money, but after my experience of living in New York for so long, I lived in maybe 10 different apartments. I was a waitress, I was a bartender, I was a babysitter. I did not have dollars. I lived in the grimiest places, and I wanted to be done with that. So for where I am right now looking for an apartment, I was willing to pay a bit more, possibly too much, to have a home that for the first time felt to me like very clean and like human. The kind of place where you don't like take a shower and feel like, ugh, dirtier coming out of the shower than when I went in. That was my goal. I also wanted to be very centrally located. I wanted a cute street. The biggest thing for me is that I want to be not depressed. What happens up here, it's very fragile. Mom and Dad gave me a fun little curveball of mental illness genetics. I've worked through my life to not be sad. For me, my home base, the place I go to as a sanctuary, is a big part of that. That means lots of windows, lots of natural light. East-facing building or southern-facing building. That's where you're gonna get the most light. And I would really love a cute coffee shop nearby, some local establishments, maybe a pub, you know, low community. And I also really wanted in-unit laundry. If I could have laundry in my apartment, then I think I've achieved as much as I care to achieve in this life. Oh, I also really wanted a 1-bedroom as opposed to a studio. Living in a studio, having everything in one room, it just ends up feeling like a dorm room to me. I can't go back to that place. So that's my preference. Also working from home, I need the mental separation. That was really my list. And then the other thing I was trying to do personally, this is personally difficult for me, was to be patient with my search. Very impatient person, not a lot of foresight. Working on that, that's my own personal issue. Trying to do my due diligence, look at a lot of places so that I would just know the lay of the land, know what hits the mark for you, know what's a good deal. Is that obvious? I don't know. It took like 10 years for me to figure out. I'm just sharing my very low bar wisdom. So that's what I was looking for. So my budget was really, it needs to be like less than $2,000. But when I was looking online at apartments, I would extend my search up to $2,300 because you really can negotiate some of these prices. I know in New York, that's pretty much not true. So it depends on the city, but in DC, I learned some of the stuff is negotiable. You just gotta go for it. We got one life to live. At the end of the video, I'm gonna show the apartment that I did end up choosing. And that's it. That's the end of my sentence. Another thing I'll call out is that I know when I was living in New York, you needed like 1 million documents to be able to sign a rental lease, pay stubs, background check, a vial of blood. Did not need that in DC. It probably depends on the landlord and stuff, but they did not seem to care who I was. I could have been a murderer, and I could still be one, but they really didn't care. So for whatever that's worth, in case that's helpful information, murderers welcome. For apartment number 1, I was looking near DuPont Circle, which is like a very hip, popular area. Lots of restaurants, bars. It's known as like a very LGBTQ hub. Beautiful neighborhoods and streets all around DuPont Circle. Apartment number 1 was a unit in a historic row house. It had this amazing little nook of windows at the front, 11-foot high ceilings. It was just so bright and airy, and a really good sized living room with a freaking fireplace. Hello. The bathroom was a little bit dated in its design, but the sink was actually pretty cute, but everything was like really nice materials, really good quality, clean. Bedroom, smaller, but did have a closet. Again, these crazy high ceilings, another freaking fireplace, nice big windows, love that. Really nice hardwood floors throughout, crown molding, nice trim, and a separate kitchenette. Most places I looked had the kitchen like in the living room. This was its separate space with a window and in-unit washer and dryer. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you. I mean, the selling point though was this living room with like the bay windows. It was east facing. I checked. I just take out my like little compass app on my phone. I was obsessed. Yeah. Oh, just saw apartment number 1. So pretty. I feel like I already want to take it. Trying to be patient, which is the wrong impulse. Patience. My goal is patience. Loved the street. The street was great. It was actually a really good size. It was a really good size. I don't really know why I was at that price, but not everybody likes something historic. I feel like most people my age want to be in like one of the new modern buildings with all the amenities and the pool and the rooftop. I don't know. Apartment number 2 was located in Columbia Heights area, which is still very centrally located, just a bit farther north. DC is not enormous or sprawling really. There's like a pretty main central area where all of my friends and family lived within a 20-minute walk, maybe a 30-minute walk. Are you recording? Let's get the hair looking good. Well, whatever. Going to see apartment number 2 today. Definitely the smallest that I'm considering. 490 square feet, or maybe 410. I think it's small. The trade-offs are it has like a really nice balcony, allegedly, and all of the amenities are like really nice and beautiful. So these are trade-offs. You never know what you're willing to compromise on. It's kind of like dating, honestly. I feel like you can have like your perfect partner checklist. Like, I want to find an apartment that's a lawyer and 6'4", and then you meet all the apartments that are 6'4" lawyers, and you're like, what is wrong with these guys? These apartments are fucking, first of all, boring as f. They are not nearly mentally ill enough for me to be able to connect with them. They're just the most confident apartments. We're like, who are you, God's gift to the earth? You're not. The confidence. Then you meet, you meet like a 6'2" like shepherd or some kind of like salmon farmer or something, and you're like, this is the best conversation I've ever had with an apartment. This apartment is so attentive and kind. This apartment has good values. I never would have thought, but now I'm in love with this salmon farmer. This is not a true story. It has not happened to me, but I'm aware that the phenomenon exists. I still think it's going to be too small. So this apartment was not really a row house, but like apartment number 1, it was just its own little place, not part of a big apartment complex. So it didn't have any fancy amenities or shared spaces, but the finishes, the kitchen, everything was so new and clean. This was probably the most modern space I saw, and it felt really nice. I'm not really a modern person, but I mean, the bathroom, honestly, the best part of this was probably the bathroom. I wanted to shower in there. The door to the bedroom was just a sliding glass panel, which I did see in a lot of places, but it had a closet, it had windows, light, but the best was just the balcony that was just freaking enormous. Although honestly, I had a really hard time focusing on this tour because the realtor was extremely attractive. Oh, wow. Oh! That was like the hottest realtor I've ever met in my life. What the That was honestly exhausting. That level of hotness is like exhausting to be around. Wow. So effective too. I wanted to take it so we could talk more. I wanted to take the apartment just to make him happy. Okay. Wow, very effective work by the realty company. I actually really liked that apartment. It was really small. It was totally small, but it was so nice and clean. The balcony was huge. I feel like most of the square footage was in the balcony, honestly. It was definitely bigger than the bedroom. I honestly don't know where I would put a couch. But the street itself is not nice. The street itself is kind of sketchy, honestly. And I'm here in the middle of the day. And if it's not sketchy, it's a little depressing. One of the biggest pros is just that realtor. Wow, that really got me. I could kind of tell off his Gmail photo when we were emailing. I was like, okay. And, that was unfair. That was sabotage. Honestly, that was illegal. They should not be able to do that to me. Apartment number 3, also in Columbia Heights. And this was the first apartment building that I went to see. Maybe had 100 to 200 units in it. A place like this had some of the amenities, rooftop, common areas, stuff like that. A lot of apartments are never even posted online. They might just be posting about it within the building or referring other people. It might not ever even make it to online. So if you see a building that you love or a neighborhood you love, you can always just like call up the building manager and ask if there are units available, and you can kind of get a sneak preview that way. Little tips, little tricks. I was only able to tour a studio because that was the only unit that was vacant at the time, but the lady told me all the units had the same flooring and finishes and everything. It would just be bigger in a 1-bedroom. Bathroom was like kind of modern, retro, space agey. I thought I liked it. I don't know. I like it. It's clean. In-unit laundry, thank you, thank you, thank you. Kitchenette was very nice and modern. There's like a very sleek fridge, which is not something I think I need, but now it's the only thing I want. Yeah, all the appliances were just like very nice. And then there were these great big windows that looked out onto like a murder alley. I hated everything about this. This was so depressing. I will not survive in this hallway. This is the most depressing thing I've ever seen. The amenities were very nice with like a grill and could be a nice work from home lounge area. There's also a great patio with really nice views and a grill, and I got it. I got why people like these spaces. Someone's blowing leaves, so there's noise in the background. That studio she showed me was like $2,100, so that's still extremely small, like a high price. I definitely don't want a studio. I will lose my freaking mind. The windows it did have looked out onto like a very depressing view, in my opinion, and it was helpful to see like, okay, I get why the amenities are nice in some of these newer buildings, because you do have like an extra work from home space. A little gym downstairs, nice little rooftop area, but those are all things outside of the apartment. The unit itself, the hallway itself, and even the street itself was just depressing. If I'm in like windowless hallways, I'm not gonna make it. Helpful to see, definitely helpful to see. I feel happy that I feel like I've seen a variety of apartments, a variety of locations, and freaking situations. I'm doing my research. I'm being a good girl. I'm doing my due diligence, whatever. I'm tired, and honestly, I'm hungry. Apartment number 4 is in a neighborhood called Shaw, which is also like a very popular, hip neighborhood with tons of restaurants. This building complex had like 500 units in it, which means they are packed tight. They are tiny. And I heard that they had beautiful amenities, like a million rooftops and a pool and all that hot, sexy, cool stuff. So I wanted to check it out, and I did. I looked at a bunch of units in this building. They all really had the same layout, kind of space poddy style bathroom. I mean, nice and clean, but something about it just felt weird. I think it's tasteless. Like there's no interesting architectural details here. It's kind of just a cube. They all had this galley kitchen in the hallway. Don't know about that. And this was a junior 1-bedroom, which the realtor told me is defined by a bedroom that doesn't have a second escape, such as a door or a window. I mean, it did, you know, it was nice. It was just kind of like a cube. It did have this nice big window here, but can you tell how small this living space is? It felt like a little space pod. I went and saw another unit in the same building. This one was like furnished as like a little show apartment. So you can kind of see what the space would be like to live in. It's doable, but it just felt so tight to me and kind of personalityless. Like, look at this freaking space age hallway. I will not survive there. But the common areas were amazing. A phenomenal rooftop. It had like 5 of these different rooftops. There were cinema rooms and a million fire pits, and I didn't even get footage of the pool. And also, something about it felt like a cult, like they wanted to induct me. I don't know. Okay, just went and saw this building called City Market at O. It's kind of like living in adult dorms. The gym was so nice, like I could for sure quit my gym membership. Mostly I'm just thinking about the pool in summer. That is so nice, because I'll be sweating all summer long. The least appealing part was probably the apartment itself. It was small, and the hallways were like kind of like futuristic-y, sci-fi. I felt like I was on a spaceship a little bit. Not in a great way. I don't know. I don't know. Would I be depressed there? This is basically what the question comes down to for every apartment I see. I'm just thinking, will I be depressed here? How depressed will I get here? And how quickly will I get depressed here? A place like this that's big on the amenities and, you know, they host comedy shows there and events, and the whole thing implies a sexy vibe. Young singles mingling. I feel like that's the unofficial tagline that they're not allowed to say, but that's what they're saying with their eyes. The whole time I was on the tour, they're like, young singles mingling, single mingle, mingle, single, young, hot, sexy, cool. But is it true? Like, I know me, and like, I'm like pretty antisocial. I don't know if I'll actually meet people there. Like, do you meet people in the common areas of your building? I don't think so. I think you just go there and hang out with the friends you already have. Especially since COVID, like, and online dating, like nobody talks to people out in the wild anymore. Who talks to anyone? Lots to think about. Okay, thanks diary, TTYL. Last apartment I saw, apartment number 5, was in a neighborhood, what is in the air? So get out of here, Fluff. In a neighborhood called Mount Pleasant, which was definitely the farthest away from the main central area, but still, like, everything is central in DC. It was a little more removed, but then of course the benefit of looking like a little farther out is that you're gonna get a lot more square footage for your budget. So I wanted to check out this place. It was just big with lots of windows, and I'm a sucker for square footage, what can I say? Apartment number 5 I visited at night, unfortunately, so it doesn't look bright, but it had lots of windows and it was just enormous. It was the largest place I looked at. So that's really what I was attracted to. It was hard to look past the 90s finishes and like the not great IKEA decor. Love IKEA, but you can't do all IKEA. It'll kill me. Did have a little patio in the back. I tried to get footage of the front of the building, but this lady was gawking at me from the window and wouldn't stop, and I just gave up. I was trying to take a video of the front of this building. First of all, it's so dark out, you can't even see anything. And this girl happened to stare out the window right as I was taking a video, and she was doing like that kind of thing, like a double take, but like 4 times. Like, bitch, this isn't about you. Why would this be about you? You're so boring. I'm not trying to take a video of you. You're the most boring person I know. I didn't know her, she's a stranger, but so annoying. It's not about you. Oh, I guess she would be a neighbor of mine if I moved in there. Well, that's off the table now because she's my enemy. The apartment, it was big. It really did feel very nice and open, but all the fixtures were like very 1990. It was just so 1990, and you can't get the 1990 off of you no matter how hard you wash. I've done the dirty feeling, outdated feeling apartments. I've done them 10, 11, 12 times at least for like 10 years. I think I'm done. I want to be done. I don't deserve to be done. I don't deserve anything. The world owes me nothing, but I want to be done. I would like to have things that feel kind of clean and pretty, and I don't know. I don't deserve it, but I do want it. So I'm gonna try and hold out, you know, until I find nice stuff. Like the first apartment I saw, it was really small. It is too early of a move-in date, and it was the first apartment that I saw, so I feel like it's not reasonable to just move in there. I'm trying to be patient. Sorry, I'm filming this on my phone, so it's like not very good quality. Sorry. Okay, so I'd seen 5 apartments at this point, and at the end of the day, I still couldn't stop thinking about that first apartment I saw, the historic little Victorian townhouse. I went back to visit it a second time, and I still just loved it. It checked all of the boxes. Freaking gorgeous, beautiful architecture, high ceilings, which is another antidepressant. You don't feel like you're in a little cage. Amazing east-facing windows, 1 bedroom, great sized living room, great neighborhood, a great street. Is like a 20-minute walk from my sister's apartment who lives downtown, a 10-minute drive from my other sister who lives downtown. It was still a little bit out of my budget, but I knew they were having trouble filling the apartment, and I had no intention of moving at that point. I was trying to stay at home for another 2 months. But because I loved it so much and I knew that they were trying to get someone to move in, this is a perfect opportunity to negotiate on rent. So I did negotiate the rent and it freaking worked. I got it in my budget and I signed the lease. So to reiterate, I ended up going with the very first apartment I toured. The first apartment after all of this. Trying to be patient. Be patient. Patience. Patience. My goal is patience. Can I defend it? No. Should I have seen maybe 5 more places? Probably. But you know what? I'm just being honest. I love the place. It suited me so well. And I went for it. I'm only human. And we all lived happily ever after. Now I'm just here in my apartment and we are deeply in love with each other. Speaking of love, that was like the hottest realtor I've ever met in my life. What the I ended up going out with hot realtor from apartment number 2 a couple of times. A delightful man, a delightful apartment, very sweet, great to look at. Not a love connection, it turns out, but a delightful added bonus from touring apartments. 10 out of 10. Recommend seeing apartments in person. I am so happy with my choice. I've been here now for about a month. I had a little bit of a fear of, I was like, what, is there a reason they can't fill this apartment? Like that they can't get someone to move in? Like, is it haunted? Everywhere I go is haunted, first of all, because ghosts follow me. But no extra haunting, just like the normal level of haunting. I really have no complaints. I think that most people my age just want to live in like one of the cool big hip buildings with all the amenities. Listen, I'm not cool, I'm not hip. So I'm very happy in my townhouse. Hey, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for letting me share a little bit of what's going on in my life right now. If you liked the video or you just want to make me feel good, you can like this video, you can leave a comment, you can share it with a friend or a nemesis or just an acquaintance that you really don't have much of a relationship with, but maybe this video could be the beginning of a new conversation for you guys. You can also follow me on Instagram. Cha-ching. Get this hair out of here. You are so rude. I'm gonna be making lots more design content as I decorate and design my apartment. It's gonna be, ooh, so good. And still, yes, still working on the part 2 of my last bedroom makeover 2 videos ago that I shared. COVID is really toying with my patience. We're still waiting on furniture to come in. So, but it is forthcoming. Love you, miss you, kiss you forever and ever. Amen. Okay, bye.